Okay, let's be real. You're probably holding your phone right now, or it's at least within arm's reach, and even if it's face down, you know exactly what's happening on that screen. There's a red dot somewhere, a notification. A tiny digital lien on your attention. Have you ever noticed that physical twitch, that Pavlovian jerk of the thumb before your brain even registers what you're looking for? It's not curiosity, it's a debt. In 2026, we're living in what I call availability debt. We've been conditioned to believe that every buzz is a moral command. If you don't reply within 3 minutes, you're unreliable. If you don't stay informed about a crisis 10,000 miles away, one you have zero power to change, you're a bad person. You feel that flash of guilt, right? That sinking feeling when you see a headline you didn't click on or a message you haven't answered. But here's the question that honestly changed my life. Who does that guilt actually serve? Is it making you a better human? Or is it just making you a more efficient resource for a system that mines your empathy for data? We're told that caring is our highest duty, but what if your conscience isn't actually your own? What if it's just a piece of rented property and the landlord is a corporate algorithm? This isn't just about being busy. It's about being spiritually hijacked. We're being told that to be good is to be constantly available, constantly outraged, and constantly productive. But what if the secret to actually living, really, living is realizing that you don't owe anyone your goodness? Buckle up, because we're about to perform a manual override on your moral compass. To understand how we got here, we have to meet a guy who was basically the world's most annoying and brilliant philosophy rebel, Max Stirner. This 19th century radical looked at the world and saw ghosts everywhere. He called them spooks, or Spook in German. Stirner's big idea was that we've killed God, but we immediately replaced him with new ghosts. We call them the state, humanity, the cause, or the brand. These are abstractions. They don't exist in the physical world. You can't touch the company or the professional standard. Yet, we let these ghosts colonize our skulls and boss us around. Think about it. Why do you feel guilty for taking a sick day when you're actually sick? Because the ghost of professionalism is haunting you. Why do you censor your real thoughts in a group chat? Because the ghost of the correct opinion is standing over your shoulder. Stirner argued that these fixed ideas turn us into hollowed-out versions of ourselves. We sacrifice our actual physical desires for the sake of an idea that doesn't even have a pulse. It's like we've installed a firmware update that forces us to police ourselves so the system doesn't have to. We've become our own prison guards. Stirner wanted us to become Ghostbusters. He wanted us to look at every duty and oath and ask, is this mine? Does this serve me, or am I serving it? 20 sextant pause for breathing space. Now take a second. Forget the ghosts, forget the shoulds. Just listen to your own breath. That's the only thing that's actually real right now. The rest, it's just code running in your head. And the craziest part, there are people making a massive profit by keeping those ghosts alive in your brain. And this is where Friedrich Nietzsche enters the chat. Nietzsche famously said, "Virtue itself is its own punishment." Now, that sounds cynical, right? But what he meant was that most of what we call virtue is actually just a bad business deal. He called it merchant virtue. If you're being a good person because you want a reward, whether that's a paycheck, a LinkedIn endorsement, or just the hit of dopamine from a like, you're not being virtuous. You're just a merchant trading your soul for social credit. In 2026, this is the ultimate trap. Corporations have realized that empathy is a cheaper fuel than gasoline. They use your goodness to get you to do things that benefit the system while draining your life. They call it being a team player. They call it radical transparency. But notice how the team always wins and the player ends up burnt out by 30. Your conscience is often just the voice of your exploiter living in your head. Think about the good person on social media. They spend 8 hours a day performing empathy for the algorithm. They're stressed, they're broke, and they're miserable. But hey, their social duty score is perfect. Nietzsche would look at that and see a slave who is proud of their chains. He warned that when we turn our morality into a currency, we lose our greatness. We stop being creators and start being resources. The system doesn't want you to be a whole, complex, messy human being. It wants you to be a predictable, good data point. It wants you to feel guilty for being tired. It wants you to feel ashamed for being selfish. But here's the mind-blowing truth. Being selfish in the Stirner sense is the only way to actually save yourself from the machine. If you don't own your life, someone else will rent it out and charge you for the privilege. So how do we actually fight back? How do we perform an exorcism on our own digital age brains? Stirner's solution was radical self-ownership. And it starts with something I call the ghost audit. From now on, every time you feel that cold spike of guilt for not replying, for not caring enough, for wanting to say no, I want you to stop for 3 seconds and ask, who does this guilt serve? If the answer is a corporation, an abstraction, or a ghost that doesn't pay your bills or hold your hand when you're crying, discard it, it's not yours. Next, practice the excuseless no. This one is hard. When someone asks for your time, whether it's a work meeting or a social obligation, and you don't want to go, just say, no, I can't. Don't provide a reason. Why? Because providing a reason is an admission that they have a right to your time. It's an admission that you need their permission to exist as yourself. When you stop justifying your existence, the ghosts start to starve. And finally, you need a zero-value ritual. Spend 30 minutes every day doing something that is completely untrackable, unmonetizable, and has zero educational value. Don't post it. Don't improve yourself, just exist. Be the unique that Stirner talked about. The world will try to tell you that this is wasteful. The ghosts will scream that you're being lazy or unproductive. But that's exactly the point. In a system that tries to turn every second of your life into a resource, being wasteful is the ultimate act of rebellion. You are reclaiming the territory of your own mind. You're saying, I'm not a battery. I am the owner of this existence. We're reaching the end of the line here, and I want to leave you with a final thought from Stirner. He said, nothing is more to me than myself. To a lot of people, that sounds terrifyingly lonely. But it's actually the most freeing thing you'll ever hear. It means you're not a project for society to complete. You're not a human resource. You're not a citizen first or a consumer second. You are a unique individual, and your life is yours to spend however you see fit. The good person trap is designed to make you feel like you're always in debt, like you're born owing the world your attention, your labor, and your conscience. But that debt is a lie. It's a contract you never signed. It's a ghost story told by people who want to keep you in the machine. As you go about your night, that phone is going to appear. The ghost of duty is going to whisper in your ear. When that happens, remember, you are the owner of the void. You are the one who decides what matters. The world doesn't need more perfect citizens who are hollow on the inside. It needs more people who have woken up, evicted the ghosts, and decided to live for themselves. So tonight, when that notification lights up your screen, ignore it. Not because you're bad, but because you're finally, truly yourself. The unique end of session.